When you wander along a warm, sandy beach, you might spot a strange, iridescent blue bubble washed ashore. It shimmers in the sun, looking like a piece of delicate, blown glass, or a beautiful, otherworldly balloon. This is the Portuguese man-o'-war. Many people mistake it for a jellyfish, and it's an easy mistake to make. It floats, it has tentacles, and it certainly stings. But the truth is far more bizarre and fascinating. The man-o'-war isn't a single animal at all. Instead, it's a living, breathing colony, a floating city of thousands of individual organisms working together as one. It's one of nature's most incredible examples of teamwork. This creature's name is just as captivating as its appearance. The term Portuguese man-o'-war comes from the age of sail, dating back to the 15th century. Sailors thought the gas-filled bladder, which acts as a sail, looked just like the impressive Portuguese and Spanish warships of the time known as caravels. As these creatures drifted across the ocean's surface, propelled by the wind, they resembled a fleet of tiny, majestic sailing vessels on the horizon. This name perfectly captures the image of this beautiful but dangerous drifter, a silent navigator of the open seas whose journey is entirely at the mercy of the wind and currents. The man-o'-war is what scientists call a siphonophore. Think of it less like a single creature and more like a highly specialized community. Every part of it is a distinct organism called a zooid that cannot survive on its own. These zooids are all genetically identical, but they have evolved to perform specific jobs for the good of the whole colony. One part forms the sail, another the tentacles, others handle digestion, and some are dedicated solely to reproduction. It's a perfect system where each individual contributes to the survival of the larger entity, a floating metropolis of life that drifts aimlessly but with deadly purpose across the world's oceans. This colonial lifestyle is what makes the man-o'-war so unique. While a jellyfish is a single multicellular organism, the man-o'-war challenges our very definition of an individual. It's a remarkable evolutionary strategy that has clearly been successful. These creatures are found in warm waters all over the globe, from the Atlantic to the Pacific and Indian Oceans. They often travel in huge groups, sometimes numbering in the thousands, which are fittingly called armadas. Seeing an armada of these beautiful, blue-sailed beings is a spectacular sight, but it's also a clear warning of the hidden danger that lurks just beneath the waves. Let's take a closer look at how this incredible colony is put together. The most visible part is the pneumatophore, the gas-filled bladder that serves as its sail. This structure, which can be up to a foot long, pokes above the water's surface. It's filled with a gas similar to the air we breathe, but with a higher concentration of carbon monoxide. This sail is not just for show, it's the man-o'-war's engine, catching the wind and pushing the colony across the vast ocean. Interestingly, some man-o'-wars are left sailing while others are right sailing, ensuring that the wind doesn't push the entire population in the same direction and helps them spread out. Beneath that beautiful, shimmering sail hangs a complex and deadly network of tentacles. These are the dactylozoids, the colony's hunters and defenders. These long, ribbon-like tendrils can stretch to astonishing lengths, sometimes reaching up to 30 meters or nearly 100 feet long. They are practically invisible in the water, a curtain of danger for any unsuspecting fish or crustacean that swims too close. Each tentacle is armed with thousands of stinging cells called nematocysts. These are the weapons that make the man-o'-war such an effective predator, delivering a powerful venom with just the slightest touch. Once the tentacles have ensnared their prey, another group of zooids gets to work. These are the gastrozooids, the colony's digestive system. They attach to the paralyzed victim, secreting powerful enzymes that liquefy the prey right there in the water. The resulting nutrient-rich soup is then absorbed and shared throughout the entire colony, feeding the sail, the tentacles, and all the other parts. It's a highly efficient, if gruesome, process. This division of labor allows the man-o'-war to tackle prey much larger than any single zooid could ever manage on its own, showcasing the power of their collective existence. Finally, there are the gonozooids, the reproductive specialists of the colony. Tucked away amongst the other dangling parts, these zooids are responsible for creating the next generation of man-o'-wars. They produce both sperm and eggs, which are released into the water for external fertilization. The resulting embryos develop into tiny larvae that float as plankton before eventually growing their own sail and rising to the surface to start a new colony. This life cycle ensures that the man-o'-war continues to populate the warm seas, drifting silently and continuing its ancient journey. The Portuguese man-o-war is a passive hunter, but an incredibly effective one. It doesn't chase its prey, it simply drifts and waits for something to blunder into its trailing net of tentacles. When a small fish, mollusk, or crustacean makes contact, the reaction is instantaneous. The nematocysts on the tentacles fire like tiny spring-loaded harpoons, injecting a potent neurotoxin. This venom is powerful enough to paralyze or kill small marine life almost instantly. The tentacles then contract, pulling the helpless meal up towards the gastrozoids for digestion. It's a silent, deadly trap that ensures the colony stays well fed. For humans, an encounter with a man-o-war is an intensely painful experience. The sting is often described as feeling like being lashed with a whip or burned by a red-hot piece of metal. It leaves behind long, linear welts on the skin that can last for days. The pain itself can persist for hours and, in some cases, for months. It's crucial to know that even a dead man-o-war washed up on the beach can still deliver a powerful sting, as the nematocysts remain active long after the colony has died. So, if you see one on the sand, admire it from a safe distance. While most stings are not fatal to humans, they can be dangerous, especially for children, the elderly, or those with allergies. In rare instances, the venom can cause more severe symptoms, including fever, shock, heart problems, and difficulty breathing. This is why it's so important to seek medical attention if you are stung, particularly if the reaction seems severe. The best first aid treatment is to rinse the area with hot water over 113 degrees Fahrenheit or 45 degrees Celsius, which helps to neutralize the venom's proteins. Forget the old myths about using vinegar or urine. Studies have shown that hot water is the most effective remedy. These creatures are responsible for a huge number of stings worldwide each year, with some estimates suggesting over 150 million stings annually from jellyfish and man-o-wars combined. In the summer of 2024, warnings were issued across the Atlantic, from Florida and the Caribbean all the way to the United Kingdom, as large armadas drifted into popular coastal areas. In 2018, a single mass stinging event in Florida saw over 200 people stung by a swarm that washed ashore. These incidents are a stark reminder of the power packed into these beautiful, floating sailors. The Portuguese man-o-war is a creature of warm, tropical, and subtropical waters. They are true ocean wanderers, found drifting in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, and even the Caribbean and Sargasso Seas. Their distribution is global, but their presence in any one location is unpredictable, as they are entirely dependent on wind and ocean currents for movement. They have been spotted as far north as Canada and Scotland and as far south as New Zealand, carried far from their usual habitats by unusual wind patterns and strong currents, surprising beachgoers in colder climates. Despite its fearsome sting, the man-o-war is not without its own predators. A few remarkable species have developed immunity to its venom. The loggerhead turtle, for example, has thick skin that protects it from the stings and will readily feed on them. The bizarre-looking ocean sunfish also preys on them. Perhaps the most stunning predator is the blue dragon, a type of sea slug that not only eats the man-o-war but also steals its nematocysts and stores them in its own body for self-defense. This is nature's ultimate recycling program. The man-o-war also participates in a fascinating symbiotic relationship. A small fish called the man-o-war fish lives among the deadly tentacles. It is not completely immune to the stings but is agile enough to avoid them most of the time. The tentacles provide the fish with protection from its own predators, and in return, the fish may help lure other prey into the trap or nibble on leftovers. It is a dangerous dance of survival, where one wrong move could mean the end for the little fish, yet it chooses to live in this perilous home. As our planet's oceans continue to warm due to climate change, the natural habitat of the Portuguese man-o-war is expanding. Scientists predict that their range will push further into temperate seas, meaning we may see them more frequently in places that were once too cold for them. This could lead to more encounters with humans and impact local ecosystems. Researchers are now using mathematical models, similar to those used for forecasting sailboat paths, to predict the movements of man-o-war armadas. In the future, we might see man-o-war reports alongside our daily weather forecast, helping to keep beachgoers safe as these beautiful but bizarre colonies sail into new waters.